Spirit of Fire, Medical Bay. Jaune was making battle plans on their way to Beacon as the ship moves slowly, hauling the remains of the Forward unto dawn. Then someone appears in his room. Isabel. You don't turn off, don't you? Jaune. Sometimes in order to make great strides in the world, one must sacrifice. Isabel. Even if it costs you your health? Jaune. No sacrifice, no victory. Isabel, an old Earth proverb? Jaune. The mantra of all leaders in history. After a few more hours, he gave the data to Isabel as she downloaded from the data pad. Isabel. Understood, I'll take the plans to the captain. Rest, that's an order all the way from the top. He sighs as he looks out the window of his room as the sting from his sprain flared up now and then. After a while, all his friends from Beacon entered his room with some get-well gifts and food. RWBY. Hey Jaune, how are you doing? Jaune, bored. Young. What, want some action? Jaune, you read my mind. Blake, you're beginning to sound like Young. Jaune. What can I say? I'm an ODST, we live to fight. Penny, it was never explained what that designation is.
Nora, yeah.
Fearless leader. What does ODST mean? Jaune. It stands for Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. Weiss, you know it's still so surreal that we're in space. Jaune. It's the only safe place for the relic. No one on Remnant has tech to reach us up here. Blake, that's what we thought about Atlas, and look at what happened. Jaune. That's when she had a power base and good allies. Reports indicate that Tyrion, Watts, and Cinder Bitch is dead. And Emerald is under close supervision by Robin and her team. Oscar. Yeah, a lot of pressure was taken from our shoulders when you got here. Jaune. And you are? Oscar. Oscar. Oscar Pine. I guess we haven't met properly yet. But it was so cool that you caught Neo. Jaune. A battle rifle to the face isn't so special. RWBY. No, but the fact you took down a skilled assassin with ease is cool. Young. Speaking of an idiot Sunday, where is she? Jaune. In the brig, tied up for good measure. Blake. What about her semblance? Jaune. I studied some of the Atlassian restraints, and we developed an aura-nullifying collar that cancels both aura and semblance. Young, isn't that? Jaune. Young, she wanted to murder RWBY, and was willing to destroy an entire kingdom to do it. Young, now that you put it that way, fuck her. RWBY. Swear the both of you. Jaune. I forgot you still are a pipsqueak. RWBY. I'm a grown woman. Jaune. And yet you all have the decision-making skills as toddlers. Team RWBY, HEY. He then chuckles and went to a full-blown laugh. Jaune, ha ha ha. It's been a while since I could laugh at anything. Penny, why so, friend Jaune? Jaune, war never give is the time. Oscar, you've been saying that you guys have been at war. But what war? Jaune sighs as he activates the monitor in his room and showed them the history of the Human Covenant War. Easy to say, all of them paled at the death toll and the brutal and overwhelming than anything Remnant could throw at them. If Remnant was part of that war, they would be all dead without any resistance whatsoever. Oscar flinched as someone else joins the conversation. Oscar Ozpin. That is a scary recap. Mr. Ark, and what part did you play in said war? Jaune. Ozpin? Okay, someone explain. They retold everything they learned, and Jaune was surprised that Ozpin can just randomly take over another body. Jaune. Alright, this Salem is the big bad of the Grim? And she's Ozpin's ex? Oscar Ozpin. I'd rather not talk about that. Jaune. Don't we all? Oscar Ozpin. You're then Mr. Ark? Jaune. I'm usually at the front of any major battle as ODSTs are sent in the middle of the battle. He shows the drop pod entry of a typical ODST operation. Jaune. Literally feet first into hell. It was then Pyrrha broke her silence. Pyrrha. Dio, you have a death wish. Jaune. That's not fair. If I did nothing, I'll be dead either way. If not a soldier or a helpless civilian. Pyrrha then hugs him hard. Pyrrha, I always regretted the moment you sacrificed yourself, but I won't hesitate anymore. I love you, Jaune, I love you. As she starts to cry, Jaune lifts her head with his hand on her chin. Jaune, I never stopped thinking about you. Even during the war, I always hoped we would meet again. They kissed right in front of the gobsmacked crowd. RWBY was whistling. Weiss was speechless. Blake just smiled. Yang was cheering. Nora was yelling loud. Ren was trying to calm the rowdy idiots. Oscar was returned to his senses and blushed, looking away. Jaune, I know I'm not perfect, but if you're willing, I can make it work. Pyrrha was frozen until she falls over, knocked out. Penny, it seems she has stopped functioning. The day ends with Jaune finally getting some well-earned rest. 3 days later, Beacon.
Static.
Glinda, this is Beacon Assault Team. We have suffered heavy casualties. We need reinforcements.